It shouldn't be up there as one of the best cuisines in the world.
And it's just perfection.
It's perfection.
The tradition of eating dim sum started centuries ago. In small tea houses along the Silk Road, yam cha, which means drink tea, is a ritual that goes hand in hand with dim sum. It's the Cantonese equivalent of having a biscuit with your cuppa.
Here, where tea is considered the elixir of life, granting the drinker eternal youth, this part of the tradition is taken very seriously.
Now she's going to make the tea for us. And see, it's the ritual. She had rinsed it before.
There's also a Cantonese etiquette when taking tea.
No, it's always the duty of the younger one to pour tea for the elder.
You know, we always say thank you, especially in Cantonese like that.
Tapping the table is the polite way to say thank you for having your teacup filled. Bending the fingers symbolizes kowtowing or bowing as a sign of respect.
Why is that?
Well, the legend comes from the time of Qianlong, which is one of the greatest emperor in the last dynasty. And he had gone out with his retainers to tour the country incognito.
In disguise?
Exactly. And when he poured tea or gave some food to some of his retainers, they couldn't bow without revealing his identity. So they did this. That's the legend. So you see people doing that all the time.
Yes, all the time.
When I was bad, when I was a child.
I was bad. You being a naughty child. You're
what
so zen.
I had to do was I had to offer tea. I had to kowtow to my mother on my knees and offer a cup of tea in front of all the Chinese neighbors. And when she accepted it, that meant she accepted my apology.
This restaurant is very popular with locals.
Hello, 你好，我姓譚。你貴姓啊？你姓廖啊？我姓廖。
你好。
Friends Lu Pilang and Lao Chaoguang are its most loyal regulars.
你長期喺呢度食，你嚟呢度食50年我飲咗50年啦。你知道呢度乜都食過晒啦，係咪？啲點上 she through the menu. I said 50 years I can eat through the menu.
She knows the menu of my heart.
屋企煮餐啊，係嘛？係啊，it's of course it's better than cooking at home.
I don't want to deprive the restaurant of its best customers, but after 52 years cooking for celebrities, presidents, and royalty, I'm certain I can persuade them to try some authentic home cooking. While Ching takes a break, I've offered to prepare a meal for them at Mrs. Lau's house.
And I thought, okay, that's a good opportunity for me to actually make sweet and sour as we Cantonese make it, which is the real thing.
I've come to the old Bao Hao Road to buy ingredients for my sweet and sour pork. Guangzhou is in China's wealthiest province. Thanks to manufacturing, people here are among the country's highest earners. They demand quality and variety in their food. And in this market, you can buy almost anything.
Live frogs. You know what we call live frogs? Chicken of the fields. You know, there's a famous saying that we Cantonese eat everything on four legs except the table, anything that flies except an airplane. Oh, this would be nice to put in sweet and sour. It's very unusual. Mangosteen.
Mangosteens are a South Asian fruit with a sweet, tangy flesh, which makes them ideal for this dish.
I got mangosteen and some pear apple.
I learned how to cook sweet and sour pork from my Uncle Paul, who had a restaurant in Chicago's Chinatown. He taught me which cuts of meat to look for.
最南係邊隻？最南係邊隻？係呢個南啊，呢個南啊。I'm using the most tender part of the pork, not the belly that needs more cooking, but a piece that I can stir fry very quickly and then toss in a sweet and sour sauce.
Mrs. Lau is retired and lives in the commercial district of Guangzhou. It looks like word of my visit has spread. Mrs. Lau has invited the entire neighborhood.
That's a Chinese Buddha. Chinese Buddhas are always fat.
Mrs. Lau could not have displayed religious icons during the Cultural Revolution, but since 1978, the Chinese Constitution has guaranteed freedom of worship.
This is quite lovely. I have the same thing in my home in Thailand.
It's 23 years since I was last in Guangzhou. So before I cook dinner, I'm keen to hear how life has changed for its residents.
最低嘅保障啊嘛，咁啊生活又穩定，大家咧個個都安居樂業係咪啊？咁就算係咁㗎啦。
所以我哋覺得個幸福指數算高，
好幸福㗎啦！我哋依家咁樣樣就。
It's beautiful. They said that we're so happy because we have stability and peace. We can eat things. We can do what we want, and for people who are retired now, we don't have to worry about instability in society. We can go out and walk, whatever. We are not afraid to be mugged. Food is abundant. She says, great. We've never had it so good. She says that the level of happiness is incredibly high. Before, even if you have money, there's nothing to buy. You have to queue up to buy nothing. She said you couldn't buy anything, and she said we have such peace and we can buy anything we want. We could eat. He said now we worry about getting fat. We're not worried about not having enough to eat but getting fat. You couldn't buy anything. It was like wartime.
For dinner, I'm making an authentic sweet and sour pork. Nothing like the sugary, glowing red version available in the West.